business name is Max, and I want to tell you what happened to Darwinism at Pajaro Dunes, California in 1993. Some of the world's greatest scientists met there to discuss their doubts about Darwinianism and how it could explain life in the 21st century. Darwin thought that the cell was very simple and filled with just a jelly-like substance called protoplasm. We know that is so wrong. The cell is a very, very complex unit of life. At Pajaro Dunes, many of these scientists came to express some of their doubts. And among them are two in particular that I would like to draw your attention to. One was a scientist by the name of Dr. Behe. The other, a scientist by the name of Dr. Dean Kenyon. Now, Dean Kenyon was one of the world's leading experts on biochemical evolution, and he wrote, along with another author, a great textbook in the 60s called Biochemical Predestination, in which he tried to explain how life began because of a simple automatic attraction between amino acids, which would then wrap and form proteins. Within 5 years, he doubted his theory. Within 10 or 15 years, he completely denied it and said it could not work because no such thing happens. And Dr. Dean Kenyon, thank God for him, was an honest man. And even though he'd written this great textbook, along with another author, Biochemical Predestination, he denied the theory that he himself had put forth. And he says in the recordings from Pajaro Dunes that he found that the only intellectually rewarding conclusion was that behind this complex information contained in the DNA, there had to be some kind of an intelligence. And so the sun began to set on the subject of Darwinian evolution in 1993. But let us go to Darwin himself and see what he said about his own theory of evolution. We are near that great mystery of mysteries, the first appearance of new beings on this earth. Charles Darwin. Natural selection acts only by taking advantage of slight successive variations. She, that is nature, and natural selection can never take a great and sudden leap, but must advance by short and sure, though slow, steps. Natural selection is scrutinizing the slightest variations, rejecting those that are bad, and preserving and adding up all that are good. And finally, Darwin sealed his own fate when he made this statement: if it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. Charles Darwin. And Charlie sealed his fate when he made that statement, because he did not know about irreducible complexities, that is, certain organs or features of cells that developed very complex mechanisms, such as the flagellum of a bacteria, which acts just like an outboard motor. Let's go to Dr. Behe. Dr. Michael Behe had a doctorate in biochemical engineering. He was a confident evolutionist until Dr. Behe discovered several things. One of them, to give you an example, is the flagellum of a bacteria, which is like a little tail that spins around and acts much like an outboard motor in propelling the bacteria through a liquid. There are some 40 proteins that form this outboard motor-like mechanism in the bacterium, with a stator, a shaft, a rotor, a tail, and all the other parts, which each would have been functionless adaptations to be discarded by natural selection, preventing the whole complex mechanism from ever developing by natural selection. The separate parts of the bacterium's flagellum produce no advantage until the whole unit is formed. It has no function. And this is known as irreducible complexity. Charlie Darwin didn't know about this. He assumed that no such thing existed, and if it ever did show up, it would totally disprove evolution. It did show up, and it has disproved evolution. But if you're a sincere person like Dr. Dean Kenyon was, and you want to look at some new scientific facts, and you want to open your mind to the possibility that there are new discoveries coming on the scene, then get my DVD. It's simply called the Post DVD, and I will be glad to send it to you, my friend. So first of all, email me at my email, and then I will send you the DVD as soon as it's ready. Make a contribution to us, and we'll be glad to have this material put into your hands. If you are a Christian, on the other hand, this is a wonderful tool to help to show people that there is another side to the scientific issue. Be sure and get it. Make copies of it if you want. God bless it to you, and we leave it with you. Just want to come in here for just a moment and give you once more the opportunity to get this production on CD that we've been talking about, this Beyond DVD. It gives you about an hour or more of discussion on the subject of evolution, and then it will give you some of my personal testimony and some of the testimony of others about life after death and the reality of passing from this world into the great beyond, into the hands of God. And those who believe that there is no God, my friend, I'm sorry to tell you that you will be a believer 13 seconds after you die, because you will encounter the world beyond. And so I encourage you now, while you can do something about it, get this DVD called Beyond, and it will give you some scientific and actual medical information that will challenge every foundation of unbelief in your life.